Right, over the ditch, and we definitely try to be serious here. Trackside's Matt Markham joins me. Matty, welcome back.
Hello, Paul. How are we?
It's been a massive week. We were just being a little bit cheeky. We'll discuss what we're going to be cheeky on there in a minute. But thank you very much to Trackside for bringing you to our show, if you like, and going from there. And, of course, the box seat airs every Tuesday night. And I would imagine this Tuesday night's going to be a massive show because it's been a massive week in New Zealand harness racing just gone, and with other news popping out as we speak about some more incentives coming into the industry, and that it's just huge what's going on at the minute in New Zealand.
Yeah. There's a lot of positive stuff going on, which is good, and we've always got to remember the positives. Massive week just been just a culmination of what's been an incredible past sort of 6 weeks when you take in the Cup Carnival and all the lead ups, Ashburton and Kaikoura, etc. Because that effectively now ends that premiere period at Addington Raceway, and we now turn our attention to Alexandra Park this week with a couple of Group 1s. But yeah, what a wonderful way to sign off on it. Obviously, we saw a brilliant edition of the New Zealand Pacing Derby. We got to see potentially the best trotter I think I may have ever seen go round in the New Zealand Trotting Derby. And we got to see a pretty special win in an inaugural race named after an absolute champion in the Christian Cullen and the win of Raceway Rockets. So among a whole heap of other stuff that's happened over the course of the past 7 days as well, Paul.
Yeah, and even Raceway Rockets race and everything that happened, it flew onto Auckland. Like it just so many great little spin-off stories and that. We'll start with the Derby, Matty. Going from there with on last Friday, I was actually going to say something else, but we won't. We'll start with the Derby. I'm going to have them coming up with a lap to go here. Some sort of win. You and I spoke last week, and it's almost been there for Hayden Cullen. What a way to announce yourself, getting your first Group 1 winner on your own with a man who just recently got his first Group 1 winner as a driver, brings up his second. Great little story for this horse, 3-back defence for everyone involved.
I believe, and I might be wrong here, that's not Hayden Cullen's first Group 1 winner. I have a funny feeling he won a Group 1 in Australia with a trotter called Tuamata Glass.
Okay.
That he trained in partnership with Brent Mangos.
No, on his own. He said first winner on his own.
The devil's in the detail. Yes, the first Group 1 winner on his own, absolutely. Yep. And what a remarkable, rise to prominence it's been for Hayden. Obviously, that's his horse in front as well, Harrison John. The horse that we are looking for is 3 Fence. That's We Walk by Faith. Good run from it. And, of course, that's Hayden's other horse in the 1-1, Hedron Collider as well. So, I mean, even just to have 3 runners in the Derby alone is an achievement in itself for a young trainer. But to effectively finish first and third just puts the icing on the cake of what's been an incredible season for him, as we see he's from heaven going off stride and cleaning up Renegade.
Yep.
Less said about that, probably the better. But yeah, the gap opened up for We Walk by Faith. And look, the writing was probably on the wall when he ran second to Renegade last week that they were getting him back to where he should have been. And he just had too much speed for them.
Yep.
Huge moment for Craig Ferguson, obviously, after his 2 Group 1s with Marketplace, and just been a continuation of success for the next generation of superstars of our sport.
Yeah, absolutely. And a great little – I love the way you Kiwis do that fist pump after the line. There's so many of them do it. Johnny Cox and Vessam, we'll touch on it in a minute, but it's just a great sign of sportsmanship going from there. I think you and I need to do a couple of these to show that we do still talk. We did a Q&A, if you like, last time. What have I done here? I've gone to some screen we don't need to be at. We did a Q&A, or not a Q&A, a yes and no we ended up deciding we would call it. And I nearly choked when you said yes to Vessam. Matty, you were within 3/4 of a length of being right. What sort of a form turnaround from the Purden camp was that run?
Yeah, huge. And I mean, as I said last week, Paul, he's always had the ability. He's just had a few issues and been out of form. But Coxie took all the shortcuts, obviously jumped straight to the fence, got onto the back of We Walk by Faith. And look, if he'd been where We Walk by Faith was turning for home, you know, it'd be probably a different story we're talking about. But that's horse racing. He's gone super. So always knew that was sort of there. And that's why I said that he could win it. When you bring into play the Purdon factor as well, and what he'd done in his career when he was at his absolute best, I wasn't surprised by that effort. And I don't know whether a whole heap of people were, because they just looked at it and went, "Oh yeah, that's Fessum.
Yep,
he's that kind of horse." So yeah, big run from him, big run from Harrison John, and Next Level, who coming off the ballot, has run fourth. That's a
yep.
great result in itself.
It was a fence-dominated race in a way, but at the same time, you've got to be able to do it. You've got to be able to keep up there. There was a couple of, I don't know if you'd say disappointing, but not at their best runs by a few of them, but they were caught wide, and we're not going to single any of those out, because I think a lot of them too have come to the end of a very long prep for quite a few of them as well. So it could just be showing the signs. The one thing I did take out of the Hayden Cullen interview that I did over the weekend, the love or the like that Cam Hart has for Harrison John, horse to follow. Definitely a horse to follow. Like that's, yeah.
He always looked like he'd be a better horse as a 4-year-old.
Yep.
With a bit of racing under his belt, and he's that next progression of horse through to open class grade. He's tough and he's dour, and he can maintain high speed. Of those beaten down the track, it's probably worthy of mentioning Chase a Dream. He did blunder after the winning post and actually ended up in the horse ambulance, but was later cleared of any injuries. So he had a pretty tough run, obviously doing it 3 wide without cover when Bazooka parked him out there at the winning post with a lap to run. So I don't know whether he's pressing on to the Auckland Cup. That was the intention. I would presume they will, but depends how he's come through that.
Yep. Big shout out to Lawrence Hanrahan. I believe he got kicked in the stalls 2 weeks ago, so he actually wasn't doing the ambulance. He's had a few runners going around too. He's actually going okay in the training ranks, but he may be out of action for a little while as well. So big shout out. He's been outstanding in the times I've been there. The access he gives me. So shout out to him. And that ambulance is an outstanding feature for harness racing in New Zealand, or racing, in New Zealand as well.
Absolutely. As the microscope goes on the racing industry on both sides of the Tasman, it's important that we're doing everything that we can for animal welfare. And the horse ambulance has become such a integral part of racing in New Zealand now. And you see them at every race meeting. If you haven't had a chance to see them, I would suggest looking them up on Facebook. They are quite remarkable bits of machinery, and that they drop right down to the ground and allow a horse to not have to go up an incline to get onto the float. And it just makes, those ones that have had an injury or something go wrong, makes it a whole lot easier for them. So we're very lucky to have them. And yeah, unfortunate for Lawrence, he was kicked by a horse in the stalls or in the wash bay. He's resting up at home, but you're right, his team's going good. He had a couple of unlucky runners at Orari on Saturday.
He had a 1-2, might have been 2 weeks ago, didn't he? I reckon he had first and second somewhere. Doesn't matter. I love throwing you under the bus, but yeah, I might be wrong, but doesn't matter. He's doing a terrific job. Could have been 4 weeks ago. We watched so many things. I've got to bring one of those things up, actually. Well, there's a few things we've got to bring up. Right, let's go to the best trotter you have ever seen. You think you've ever seen?
I said might.
Okay. Yeah, but I don't think you're on your own, and it's actually quite a unique thing to be saying this. But we are talking about Kiang Sahara, because there was another fair trotter on the same night. But lap to go, and Jason Lee was very patient off the arm, found a spot. I think a few people were probably looking over their shoulder, thinking he might have got moving early, but he takes a run with a lap to go to get up and sit outside Father Time with Empire City behind the leader, Matty. But she's something special, isn't she?
Yeah, pretty special. Pretty special. Hey, look, he didn't have to go then. He could have gone at the 200-metre mark and she probably still would have blasted past them. So, just a privilege to be able to see her in the flesh and here on New Zealand soil. It has been the perfect trip with three victories, obviously, in the Ascent, the Oaks and the Derby. And she goes back home now with a whole heap of new fans over on this side of the Tasman, and the talk's already happening around, will she be here for the TAB trot slot in April? Will we see her back this time next year for races like the Dominion Handicap, or will she focus on those challenges closer to home? There's an Inter-Dominion in Brisbane in June, July. They've got options aplenty.
Yep.
I would suggest they'll do everything right by the horse, and yeah, they'll map out a path, and that'll be the path they'll go down. But I can't remember a juvenile trotter in 30 odd years of really closely watching harness racing that has been as impressive as what she is and looks as good as what she is. I probably have no doubt that she would have beaten the open class trotters later on in the night if she'd lined up in that.
That's a big race.
What's she gone here? She's gone 3:17 home in 56.4. I know it's not a quick overall time.
Yep.
Oscar Bonavina ran home in 56.3.
Yep.
That was over 2,000 meters, so a little bit different, but she's got the speed that she'd be competitive in the open class ranks, and she just does it so easy. And you look at that, Paul, she's run home in 56.4. I don't think she's out of first gear.
No. And I've been fortunate enough to have been across there and saw Empire City last year. And I thought, there's the best filly we've seen. Then went and saw that filly earlier on this year at Menangle when she contested both the Oaks and the Derby. And I was like, oh, hello. But a little bit hard to line that form up. I rate you as a judge, not here to blow in your pocket or anything else like that, but I reckon you're a very, very good judge. You have a huge opinion of Father Time. Those two horses, 8.1 lengths and 12.8 lengths. And Father Time, he just handed up. He had the cold sit on her. And, even with the tow rope, it probably would have snapped. I mean, and I'm not, no disrespect to Father Time. She is just so dominant at the minute against high-class trotters.
Yeah, look, and I think both those two horses are more staying types, and when she pressed the button, they just couldn't go with it. It was basically, they're just not quick enough to run with it. Empire City was good.
Yep.
She actually made up a bit of ground, which is good to see her back on track. She'll appreciate not seeing Kiang Zahara for a while, I'd imagine, but there'll be plenty of options ahead for her. She's just in a world of her own. I mean, put it this way, Paul, I've been watching the Inter-Dominions. She'd be going around $1 in the final this week, I think, on what I've seen. So
the only good thing I will say while we're on the Inter-Dominion, and that's I think where horses like Queen Elida, the Locomotive, and even Parisian Artista are sort of stamping themselves, it is such a hard travel. Queensland's different. Queensland is going to be all at the one venue. The same thing. It's anyone that's driven from Bathurst to Menangle or Bathurst to Newcastle will understand that the horses are doing, not just the racing that's tough. It is the other part of it. So I think it's great that they're not going there, but the horses that she's racing, definitely. There could be a couple more star horses going to Queensland, but it is an option. There is another option with that filly, and it has been spoken about, although not publicly, I believe, is overseas. Some great mares races in America, and even then Europe as well. But a lot of people have spoken about it. I know Rockin' with Attitude toyed with the idea going from there, and I think I don't think Dave Miles would mind me saying this filly's probably better. So there is that option of some really nice mares races for her, being a young mare and being able to go across there. So who knows? You guys want her back there, Australia want her back. We never know. We might be just watching her on TV for a while.
Yeah, well, that's every possibility too, isn't it? Seems increasingly unlikely that we'll see Harry heading overseas at any time again soon.
Yep.
Those opportunities don't come along very often for people that have been in the game for as long as the Lee family have. And, you work your life to try and find a horse like her so you can compete in the best races. And when you get those opportunities, as Jess and Greg said when they took Just Believe over to Sweden, you've got to make the most of them. So she's shown she can travel and adjust to a different climate, and it is a different climate over here. I know it's spring and into summer, but we were still having some pretty cold mornings and things like that during there. So she adjusted to that and into a new stable out there at Purdon Racings. She did everything seemingly pretty easily. So the world's their oyster now. They can pick and choose what battles they want to go to, and no one's going to shut the door on them from coming on what we've seen so far.
I think if we look back, his name's just escaped me. The horse that Kieran and Peter Manning took over there, but prior to Petite, Lyle Creek, Sundon's Gift, all these horses went across there and they were almost off the back of each other. Night Pistol is the other horse. Then all of a sudden there's been this bit of a stop. Now all of a sudden the Lees could see what Greg and Jess have been able to achieve, and the fact that the horse can come back and still be a high quality racehorse here, it probably makes that European trip or overseas trip not as daunting. Although it's a big trip, but they probably see it and they say, well, look, it can be done, and it's not the end of the horse. Once we go across there, you can do so many more things.
Yeah, as I say, I mean, there are so many options now. We've got Australasia's got these great ins when it comes to American racing. If you want to try your hand at that through, the McCarthy boys and Dexter and Lauren and Shane Tritton obviously being over there. So there's, that's a pretty long list of what's available, that's for sure.
Yeah, it is indeed, and exciting. Brecon Farms, where the stats don't lie. Contact the team at brecconfarms.co.nz for more information. For the 2024-2025 stallion roster for Aldebaran Park, they are standing Dancing in the Dark M for $4,400 or $4,600 including GST for the New Zealand friends. Chilled Seaman for that horse there. Sky Valley $2,000 for Australian viewers only, and the Australian representative, of course, Champion Sire. And then for my New Zealand friends, the unique opportunity with Aldebaran Eagle being available only in New Zealand for the service fee of $3,450. He's doing an amazing job, heading it up by Rockin' With Attitude, plus also Gatesy's Gem. GST is payable on live foal. That is Frozen Seaman. Get in touch with the team at Aldebaran Park. Go to the website and all the details are there. Right, we will roll along now, Matty, to another of the trots. He doesn't know which order I'm going in, so he's enjoying this. We are all over the shot. But Oscar Bonavina, Freeback Defence, I Dream of Genie, kept them honest early, that's for sure. But great little race this, and he's done a great job, I think, Oscar, this year. He's one of those horses that he's probably any other year would be shouting about how great a trotter he is, but there's just been a couple others overshadow him.
Yeah, you're exactly right. Look, he's obviously a trotter that is just absolutely in the zone at the moment. You just see him there. He's just charging on the bridle. And it's a pretty fair horse sitting outside him in Muscle Mountain too. Yep. So he's just run away from them, run pretty quick sectionals and done it on his ear. He is not heading to Invercargill. I think I read this week. Muscle Mountain is likely to for the feature trot down there on Invercargill Cup Day. Whether that means Oscar's heading to Auckland, I'm presuming that's where they'll be heading with him. He obviously is filling a dual purpose at the moment because it is still breeding season.
Yep. And
he is still serving a few mares or being collected to serve a few mares. So, he's just untouchable at the moment, really. Yep. His last three starts have been brilliant. I Dream of Genie was very good. She heads up north to the Queen of Diamonds this week for the Trotters, the Group 1 at Alexandra Park. On this run, she'd be pretty hard to beat, you would think, but never easy heading up to Alexandra Park and trotting around the other way around. And Midnight Dash, he just tries as hard as he can every time he goes out on the track, and another good run from him for fourth.
Yeah, I think that's the best part about I Dream of Genie, her run, because Midnight Dash, Mystic Max, they're horses that have been going terrific, and they've been going very, very good. And she was able to hold those off. And I'm going to take my hat off to you, Matty. You suggested last week how good she was going. A few of these mares were going, and I was thinking to myself, well, they're in mares' company. But no, they're dead set flying, these horses.
Yeah, they are. Yeah. And, she hasn't had as busy a season as a lot of them. She's only 4 or 5 starts into her campaign, and she's got a heap of options available to her over the next sort of 2 to 3 months if they want to, that they can chase races. But nice option for her to head up and try and chase a Group 1 success this week, and she will be pretty hard to beat.
Yeah, she will indeed. I'll get this one playing. This can play for the entirety of the race if you like. This is the inaugural running of the Christian Cullen and Gavin Smith. Daring drive early, and hats off to him. It came off, and it was great to see, and great scenes afterwards, Matty. But this was, a race named after a champion. And a champion, like a champion horse. I'm not saying a champion horse won it, but the race, probably exceeded expectations, I would imagine, of everyone's billing of it, because it was such an exciting race.
Yeah, it was an exciting race. And obviously that little bit of uncertainty about what was going to happen early came true, and Gavin chanced his arm to find the front off Don't Stop Dreaming. That's Blair going around to the front with Don't Stop Dreaming now. Look, he's a good horse, Rakiro Rocket. He is a very serious horse. He's only had 14 starts, maybe 15 starts now. He's won 7 or 8 races. No, he's had 14, won 7, and is still a very long way away from being the full package when it comes to a racehorse. But he's getting there, and this exposure to racing at the top level is only going to be beneficial to him going forward. Some good horses here, like Don't Stop Dreaming's in front, Merlin's second last. Then you've got Charlie Brown, Pinseeker, obviously Smoke on the Water. So, it wasn't an easy Group 1 victory, but he kind of made it look easy in the finish.
Well, and the thing about it, Matty, there's only 2 Group 1 winners in the race prior to it, and now there's only 3, I suppose, is the dumb thing to be able to say. But there's a couple of horses here that are dead set kicking the door down to say that, they're going to win one. Going forward, they just start to make their moves. We'll just scrub it forward a little bit to the last 400, where Merlin just gets up outside of Don't Stop Dreaming. But there's some nice runs in behind, as you said there before, with Charlie Brown 1-1. And I don't know if I want to mention Pinseeker, because you might just walk off the set on me.
Yeah, I'm pretty close to. No, he was obviously very, very unlucky, Pinseeker, and I don't want to predict it, but I think he would have won with half a gap because he is very fast. But that's not to take anything away from Tom Bamford, Gavin Smith, Ronnie Dorr, who is the man that owns Rakiro Rocket. All his horses race with the Rakiro moniker. He pumps a lot of money into racing. And he's backed a young horseman in Tom Bamford. That's Ronnie Dorr that you just saw at the end of that shot there, standing up, putting his glasses on his head. He's backed a young man in Tom Bamford, and Tom's done a super job. I think he's trained 23 winners in his career, Tom. 17 of them have come this year, and he's now a Group 1 winning trainer. Does a fantastic job, and clearly has a very, very good horse on his hands.
I will do an interview. I do want to get him on for an interview. I was tipped off that it might have been the Christmas party, might have already been pre-planned Saturday night. So the suggestion was maybe just give a few days either side, because, if that was planned beforehand, it was just an amazing afterwards. The $20,000 bonus as well on top, they got that. And this is all from a $16,000 purchase, which I'll catch up with Cambrai in a minute once we finish the Addington fields and discussing the rest of Addington. But, for that NZB sale. So a very smart, astute buy as well for everyone there. It was just terrific. So, great to see. Great scenes afterwards, and good to see a young man, making his way. And I keep saying it's the most exciting part about New Zealand harness racing right at the minute, that there is this tinkering of a change of guard. I ain't saying the old guys are got done and dusted, but there are a raft of young blokes coming through, and with all this positive news coming out just lately, it's so exciting.
Yeah, it is. He's from a reasonably decent family, being out of Motto Pocket Jules. That makes him a half to Motu Premier, who was a pretty nice horse for the Purdons, ended up in Australia. He's also pretty closely related to the 3-year-old filly of Bob Butts that's been running around Reclaw's Dream, is it? I might have to look that up. No, that can't be right. Maybe one out of Reclaw's Dream. There's some tie up there. I'm not sure what it is, but it is a good family. So, we're going to talk about Rakiro Rocket a lot more.
Rightio.
And probably shouldn't deflect from the effort of Charlie Brown as well. No. He's run second in another big race this year, so he's done a super job.
Yeah, and I say with Hayden Cullen, we were saying almost could have been and all the rest. Robert and Jenna have probably had one of those years where they've been filling the placings, and the sliding door moments had to change a little bit. They would have had, but I'm tipping they've still had a great season, and a great carnival, but just not quite the right results for them.
Well, it just shows, that at this time of the year, everything's got to be going 110% right for you, and if it's not, then that's the difference between running second and third and winning in many cases. So, I mean, they've still had a rather incredible year, 134 winners at the moment for the Dunn team. That's 24 wins clear of Stephen and Amanda Telfer. And then there's another 40 wins back from them to Barry and Scott. So just shows the domination of the William Beach operation and, of course, an Auckland operation as well. And they've got some nice stock coming through too.
Yeah, no, they have indeed. It's going to be exciting. Right, last week, we're going to stay on Addington for the sec, but we spoke about Royal Aspirations. Woodland Stud have a fantastic stallion roster for the 2024-2025 season, headed up by the King, Better's Delight, down by the Seaside, who just keeps producing quality horses on both sides of the ditch. Lather Up 2-year-olds are really starting to make an impression. Speeding Spurs standing for the value of $1,000. Sweet Lou fully booked out here in Australia, but still available for the New Zealanders. And What the Hell, the sire of Bet and Win, who won the Canterbury Park on the weekend and is now qualified for the Dominion Handicap. To get in touch with the team, visit woodlandstud.co.nz. That's woodlandstud.co.nz. First winner at Addington is by Royal Aspirations, but there's a kicker for us, Matty. Geelong, Friday night, race 2. Guess what it was by as well? Royal Aspirations. Just leaves Frosty's Girl, third race. Frosty Girl was the horse's name, former Kiwi. But it just leaves winners everywhere, just continues to do it. And this horse, I know you were half keen on there a couple of weeks ago, George Elliott.
Yeah, can trot a bit, George Elliott. And when it does it right, well, actually, no, to be fair, it didn't do it right on Friday night. It galloped early and still beat them. So it was a pretty good performance too, because it beat Aspirational Dream, who, of course, ran third in the New Zealand Oaks behind Kiang Zahara the week before. So, it was a good performance.
Yep. Tony Barron, race number 2. He's having a terrific ride at the minute, both here and in Australia. Sweet Tartan with Johnny Morrison in the car. It was a good win.
Yeah, it was. Capitalised on a good trip in the trail and was just a bit too good for them up the passing lane.
Nathan Williamson, I told you. Did you tip this?
No.
Oh, you didn't. I thought this was one of the ones that you did tip. Got up and beat the brother. Sung Song Blue, which is a mouthful in itself. Got to say, big rap for the race callers this week too. Matty Cross, as always, some of the things that he's came out with. I forgot the gentleman's name in Auckland. I keep forgetting that. But
Aaron White,
Sugar Ray Lennon, the knockout punch. It was brilliant. The way he executed it too. It's easy to say it, but you've got to execute it the right way. So they are very, very good. Wallflower, two on the trot for the Dalgettis.
Yeah, she's developing into quite a nice wee filly, and she's going to come back as an even better mare. She's obviously pretty well bred, being out of a good-looking chick, which is the mother also of Finetti, who Cran and Chrissy train as well. So she's got a bit of value as a broodmare going forward for her connections. Yep.
Aurora Kenny took out the second last for Phil Williamson and Ricky May. Good win. Very, very good win.
We've got to get you up to scratch on your Maori pronunciations. It's Aroha.
Aroha Kenny.
And in Maori it means love.
Oh, and so there you go. It's by love.
Yeah. There you go. She was a bit disappointing the week before, but very, very good. There is a winner out of that race for this week. The third horse, Styx Jewel, was very, 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 very good. She drops back in grade this week at Addington, and in the words of Michael House, bet on red.
Yep. I don't hats off to Wilson House. He actually wins the next race as well. That horse is more noted for its speed, and I've watched it when he drives it cold and it can come home. It was pedestrian mid-race, that race, and he made that mid-race move at the right time. And then even up the straight that last time, he's just sitting. He's just holding his tongue, holding his breath. Great drive.
Yeah, she goes around race 3 Friday night at Addington.
Yeah, no, went terrific. And then Artful Bromac. Now, this horse, I was listening to you guys on Trackside. Thankfully, Sky Active, the later it gets, we seem to get more of you. I wish we could get more of you guys earlier, but we got more of you. There was a good push for this horse who had moderate form prior to it, but there was a good push and another beautiful drive, beautifully executed by Wilson.
Probably not moderate form when you break it down, Paul. So it had 3 career starts. It ran 4th at Oamaru behind a pretty nice 2-year-old called Cheldon from the Ken Barron stable.
Yep.
Then it ran 5th at Ashburton on Magic Monday behind Got the Chocolates, Demon Blue, Confederate, and Better's Anvil. Then its next start was in the Group 1 size stakes final on Cup Day when 11th behind Marketplace. So dropping back into a lower graded 2-year-old maiden, perhaps the form probably looked a little bit better than what it actually... Well, no, sorry. The form was actually a little bit better than what it actually looked.
Yes. When you look at the figure form, it was moderate form. When you dive into it, yes. And that's what you guys were. That's the worst part for us Australians. That's actually what you guys were saying prior to it. I was actually trying to get that component out of it because you guys were alluding to don't worry exactly on the numbers. It's the horses that he was chasing, and that's why there was a good go. And there was a good go for it, I think, wasn't it?
We actually highlighted it after Magic Monday as a horse that would win a race pretty soon.
Yep.
On this show.
And it did.
There you go.
So you know you do know what you're on about.
Well, I do sometimes.
I got to throw to NZB's Cambrai, but you and I will be back straight away to discuss the rest of the week. Right now on Over the Ditch, catching up with NZB's Cambrai. Firstly, Cam, thanks for joining me.
How you going, Paul? You all right?
Very, very well, mate. We're going to do these very regularly from now right through, past February 15 and 18, but they are the sale dates, so there'll be plenty of updates coming through and some important ones. Got a couple of, bit of boring updates for a start, if you like, Cam, but just changes to the parade and also to the scoping, which are very important.
Yeah, so with consultation with the vendors of the Auckland sale, the decision was made to move the parade to Friday at 10 a.m, which does just free up sale day morning. We will now parade a full parade on the Friday at Karaka at 10 a.m. It would have been probably, when you think about it, a little bit problematic doing it all on one day. Bearing in mind that we do realise that there is 2 race meetings at either end of the country on the Friday, but nonetheless, they are welcome and open for inspection and parade on the Friday. So it'll be in lot order as it normally is at Karaka. So that's the first piece of mail I've got for you. And that's the second piece is
it's at 10 a.m, isn't it? 10 a.m.
on Friday, yeah. And there'll be the usual hospitality that sort of features with it all. Yep. The second piece of mail I've got for you, which is a bit of news that came out this morning, which will be relative to our sale in February, is the move now by the major sales companies in Australasia to move to what is now a 7-tier scoping system away from the old 5-tier. So there is on our social media a news bulletin that's come out with an article written by the Thoroughbred Daily News. Now, it has been written for thoroughbreds, but it still applies to the standardbred sales. Obviously, we adhere to the same protocols the thoroughbreds do, just for continuity of business for us. And for the vets, most vets in New Zealand are dealing with both codes. So that's something to be aware of. I urge everyone to go through, especially vendors and buyers, to go and read through that. All the veterinarians were sent it ahead of schedule yesterday, albeit most of them knew about it anyway. And look, we might try to get James Jennings on later just to sort of run through the intricacies of it all. He's our operations manager, obviously, and director of operations, I should say. So he's been working pretty closely with it. So there's quite a few comments from him. Ourselves and Magic Millions moved to that model in the January sales. William Inglis will obviously do it for their sales, but have already started with their online English Digital. And for those that purchase off Gavel House, we will roll out those changes to the scoping for horses that are eligible for scoping early in the new year.
We'll let it all digest. We'll get in touch, as you said, with James, going a little bit more in depth into it. And I'll say they're boring before we started both these. They are logistical things that we've got to work through, and that's one of the things that we will get through with this scope as well. People need to know and need to get their head around. There will be updates on the website, I imagine, would be the best way.
Yeah, stuff there now, mate. Yeah, so Yeah, it is. It is. There is a name for it, and probably poorly prepared. I don't actually know what the name is. It's just a new model I've moved to, and it's quite uniform throughout Australasia, particularly for the thoroughbreds to move to that model. So it's something to be aware of. I don't think everyone needs to probably know the final intricacies of it, but it will obviously, you'll need to know for yourself what is the pass and fail mark, and the reasons why we've moved to that
platform. And it's not designed for people to fail easier either. It's actually just to give buyer confidence and vendor confidence as well. That's the whole idea of both of these. Cam, we've wrapped up. We have wrapped up, I suppose, Addington with last week's racing. The team at NZB pride yourselves on promoting Group 1s going along. This is an easy one for people, I would imagine, for everyone involved to be able to get her about. A great story for Tom Bamford and the crew behind Rakiro Rocket getting the chockies the other day in the inaugural running of the Christian Cullen. That's in behind the leader. But a great story, this, and a great fillet for people trying to go out there and purchase a horse this year at the sales.
Well, yeah, on paper it looked to be a 2-horse race, didn't it? And I think for Gav Smith, he got a great wee run in transit, and as you can see on your footage as they come into the straight, he didn't probably have to spend too much, and he was there at the finish. And how great it is for a great group of people in our industry. Tom Bamford, young guy who's doing a great job, and particularly for Ronnie Dorr, the principal of Rakiro Stables. It's great. He's invested a lot of money in the last few years, and it's great to see him get some, accolades as far as a Group 1 win. Interestingly, just shows you this horse was purchased out of the sales for $16,000. It was bred and offered for sale on behalf of Belmont Park down in Timaru. So it's a great story all round. It shows you, it's probably at the time wasn't horrendously fashionably bred. He's from a great old family, the Motu family, who you'll know, Paul. But it just shows you that these winners do come from anywhere.
Yep, and they also got the $20,000 bonus for being the first horse across the line that hadn't won a Group 1 race. So it's a great story. That paid for his purchase price, and that's what we want to encourage people to go to the NZB Standardbred sales, go to the catalogue, do your homework. There is bargains there galore. There's blue bloods. There's a couple of blue bloods in that race there, Merlin. Don't Stop Dreaming Group 1 winners. And they've got the bloodlines behind it, but there's always that value, and to be able to find it, that's what it's all about.
It is, and it's from the same area, bred in the same area as one of the greatest racehorses. Well, I think you call them an Australian racehorse, but the greatest racehorses in history. Obviously, the birthplace of Far Lap, just down the road, in fact. So it's great. It's great for the stories of our industry. It's great to see a stable get the success. It's great for Ronnie, who, again, as I said before, has invested heavily into our industry. It's just great on so many different levels. And for a horse like that to be, as you said, a field of blue bloods, it's just great. And you could see the excitement and the passion and when he returned to scale, and that's what racing is truly about.
Absolutely. Cam, go to nzbstandardbred.co.nz to view both catalogues, North and South Island, the 15th, Saturday, the 15th of February, and 18th, Tuesday, the 18th of February. Both sales you'll be selling at both those sales. Sorry, got me tongue-tied there. But anyone wants to get in touch with yourself or the team at NZB, all details are on that website there as well. Phone call away, emails. If you want to register to bid, if you can't be there, do it now. It's not even Christmas just yet. We've got plenty of time, so we want to get people.
Particularly if you haven't purchased off us before, get on and get that done early, because obviously we move into quite a busy time after Christmas. Obviously, we've got to get through 1,100 odd thoroughbreds only a fortnight before we sell the standardbred. So it's a busy time. To avoid disappointment, get in early and get your affairs in order. And if anyone wants notes on horses, we start inspecting on the 23rd. when I get back from Perth. And, if anyone does want to come out and see them early doors, they're more than welcome to jump in and come with me. So, yeah, just reach out.
Cam, thank you very much for joining me. We'll go back to Matty now.
Great, mate.
Right, Matty. Rest of the week, we'll go to Auckland. One thing I did highlight about Auckland is when we're talking about one horse going around, about sometimes the trotters take a little while to adjust. It happened again, Matty. No comments?
It did happen again. And there was a big chance that it would, but I didn't think it would. Euro Style is obviously the horse we're talking about. She just didn't cop the first bend at Auckland, and then she was all skew after that. But she'll be better for it. She goes into the Group 1 this week, so don't count her out because we obviously know how good she is when she's at her best. Kimberly flies up to take the drive, knows the horse well. That'll help as well. Not that having Bob Button the bike's a bad thing, especially given the night that he had on Friday night. So, yeah, don't drop it.
Just on that, why do some horses adapt? Do you have a theory on it? Like as a person that does the form, because some horses seem to go, and there's a couple going to highlight go. Although she's already been there, Goldie. What is it when that first time going that wrong way that they can't handle? Can you get a grip on it? The answer is in a way no, because you were pretty confident this mare would. But is there an understanding of why some don't do it?
I guess it's a case of, you spend your entire career up to one point running around a bend one way, and then all of a sudden you're turning and going the other way. For those horses that are so used to it, they try and fight it because it's not natural, and then they get off balance, or it doesn't feel natural to them. Maybe they're not fighting it, but it just doesn't feel natural and they panic, or particularly trotters.
Yeah.
Because they are so much easier to unbalance. And I think that's a big key. But generally what you find is that after one, maybe two starts up there, they're fine with it. It becomes a bit more natural. There are those that just don't get it at all. But I know, like we work all our horses both ways around at Ashburton. But that's at fast work speed, not race speed. And quite often it's running into the first bend when the problems arise, and that's because everyone's going that much quicker trying to get into spots. So, yeah.
I know the interesting part about it, and it's not an issue again for Bob because he's done it plenty of times, but Greg Sugars said the most foreign part was your body weight because you're used to sitting and leaning one way, and you've got to, and he said even your vision because you cock your head. And you've got to cock your head the other way. But, Benton Wins, the horse we talk about, it was about this time last year, probably nearly the same sort of races. He didn't handle it one week. The next week he just came out and just charged around and went on from there. And I'm not bringing the other part of that up, Matty. We'll just leave the rest of that alone. But, they definitely do change. American Muscle for Peter Argus. We said there before about Empire City and Atlantic City. So nice little result for those guys too. Very well bred filly. Nice little mare, Liberty City, the job she's doing, that's for sure.
Absolutely. She's done a super job, hasn't she, when you think about it? And the good thing is that the family line's going to continue because, you've got American Muscle, who's obviously a mare, you've got Empire City, who's a filly, and you've got Atlantic City, who is a filly as well. So there's plenty to go on with there.
Yeah, I think there's one in the sales this year as well, so which will be exciting for people. Right, we'll go through the results. When you want a video, you'll tell me. I've got no doubt about that. I think I'm organised to go with that. I am now. Race 1, Fearless, Cheryl Wigg in the sulky.
Yeah, Father Patrick, getting the job done again. This one's out of Never Fear, which makes it a full sister to Fear and Faith. Right. There you go. That's my comment on that one.
Very, very good. Race 2. This was a nice win by Debbie Lincoln. The race. This is the race where the horse. No, it's not this race, is it? Where the horse didn't score. Yeah, it is there. Actually, it is scratched. Why is it scratched, Matty?
Because it was late scratched after the race by the stewards for displaying poor barrier manners. Okay, so in Australia, I'm going to. I will get that up and have it. I'll just hopefully once it plays. In Australia, it still would have been declared a runner where you guys scratch it. That's it there. Says, I want to go back to the stables before they're ready to go. So the stewards have the option of scratching it and saving the punter a bit of money. That's exactly the way it is. Had it galloped here in the score-up? No. Wouldn't be a late scratching.
Right.
But because it's never actually got an opportunity to even really score up, the punters haven't had a chance to make any money or lose it, depending on what way you look at it. So we had a couple on Saturday at Orari that were late scratched at the start for playing up and interfering and all sorts of things. So, yeah, it's an interesting one. It's a pretty open-ended rule, I think. But at the end of the day, it's serving the punter.
Well, it throws me out because I actually did watch that race. Interesting listening to Maddie White's partner, whose name has escaped me for the minute, but Bridget, Nicole Sims interviewed her, and I got to hear this one, and basically they were very worried about that barrier draw because the horse has a bit of a history of it. If there's a horse outside of it, they've got a lot more confidence that it will score up, but because it was the outside of the front, that was one of their great concerns with her.
You know what the problem for it is now? It'll end up on the unruly, so it'll never have a horse outside it, unless it somehow draws two on the unruly and there's another horse there. Yeah.
Debbie Lincoln was a good winner. Tune in to Woodlands Winners. We discussed more about that. The daughter of Lather Up, but she was a nice winner there. Quite funny. Woodlands are happy for a daughter of Lather Up to beat one of the syndicate-owned horses run second. So interesting race. But the 2-year-olds are starting to step out there. There's a nice 2-year-old we will talk about in a minute. Rewhirl Hill. Is that right?
Reworry
Hill is the race number 3. Matty loves working with me.
Owned by the Bain, or bred by the Baines family down in the deep south, out of one of their good mares in Knapdale Gill, who's left a fair few winners. Obviously sent up north to make the most of the opportunities up there, and they've got the job done. So, he now has a win next to the name after 18 career starts, which is always good.
Yep, being by Muscle Hill too. So I'm sure they would have liked a few more before that. Barbarossa won race number 4, beating Major Tommy and Katie's Princess for Nicky Chilcott.
Yeah, Benjamin Butcher's team's going really well at the moment. He's picking up placings and getting the odd winner along the way here. While Dad David just does Dad David things and keeps winning races in the sulky.
How long until Benjamin's back in the sulky?
Not sure.
Okay. Rightio.
I can give you an update on Sarah O'Reilly, though.
Yes.
She has an X-ray early January before the next round of discussions.
Okay, so she's a ways off, unfortunately. So, Says, if you're watching, get well soon. Not that you can do much about it. You're not unwell. It's just a bone needs to do what it's told. Okay, this was some sort of win. The next race, this was one of those great calls. Sugar Ray Lincoln, Matty, I've got the race. It's already started playing. That's him behind the leader. Maurice McKendry, I reckon he was 50-50 on whether he should stay here or get him out. And you could tell he just wasn't comfortable in his drive, Morris. He wasn't sure what to do with him. And he jumps it off here in a minute, but some sort of win afterwards.
Yeah, huge. So that's obviously just got out of the trail. And it's about here somewhere where things go awry for it. And the uncanny thing about it was that the losers out of what unfolded were largely stablemates. So that's one galloping at the back of the field, and then it scattered the other two. So he's always been a pretty fair horse, this guy.
Yes.
There's been no doubt about that. He showed a bit of ability when he was down in Canterbury.
His last ride there now, and he even puts in a few one-steps there as well.
He does. And he just lets down.
Yep.
With a bit of authority. Well, you know who his brother is.
Yes.
Obviously.
Yep.
Yeah, being a brother to copy that. So he has got a bit of breeding on his side. But he's certainly got a bit of the family ability too. Actually, he's a full brother, isn't he?
He's a full brother, and there's a full sister in the sale this year as well. So, yeah.
Yeah. And that family's actually ending up being quite a prolific producing family, Lively Knights. Obviously, that's the family of, what was the other one that was running around? My Copy.
Yes.
Won quite a few for Ray and Green as well. So there's a bit of breeding there. And he's going to develop into a nice horse, Sugar Ray Lincoln. There's no doubt about that. Interesting.
It was also referred to in the call that Copy That used to do a similar thing at a similar spot, wears the same headgear as well. So, yeah, just could be a little bit of a quirk, but high speed. That was a 2-year-old and up. He did beat a 2-year-old, ran second, but he beat 3-year-olds and older afterwards. And I know we're at the end of the season, so it probably doesn't matter as much, but it was some sort of win, albeit the bad manners made it some sort of a win. But, very, very impressive horse of the future. American Muscle, we touched on that race there. Was there much else to add out of that next race, the next trot?
No, just a good performance from American Muscle.
Yep, sooner the better. Back in the winner's circle again. Good aggressive drive too from Crystal, who's over, should be racing right about now actually, here in Victoria. But I think Kango was expecting to get to the front. I think the commentator was expecting to get to the front. There was just one person had a different idea, and that was Crystal Hackett.
Yeah, smart move by Barry and Scott to get him back up to the north. Obviously, he's got the Golden Gate final in a couple of weeks' time, and he's found winning form again, and he's doing it nicely. Big run from Kango to hold on for third. Huge run. And that's a pretty fair horse sitting in the 1-1-2, the Big Lebowski. He won the New Zealand Junior Free-for-all on Cup Day.
Yep.
So, it's a pretty strong first three horses, and we will see some of them in the Auckland Cup, and we'll see some of them on Golden Gate night. So that's great.
Yeah, and just shows good turn of foot, this horse. And separating, maybe he'll get his confidence back up. I think a lot of people, a few of us probably forget, he did run second in a Miracle Mile, and some races stand the test of time. The Miracle Mile is one of those races, so these confidence boosters will be doing his harm, won't be doing him any harm, that's for sure.
No, they won't. And I reckon we're a bit tough on Sooner the Better sometimes.
Yeah.
Because he runs second in a Miracle Mile, we think that he should just come out and win. Well, he set 3 fence in a Miracle Mile.
Yep.
3 fence? Yeah. Yep. Speed horse, peeled off and rushed at Leap to Fame and nearly got him. Wonderful performance. But that doesn't necessarily mean that he can loop a field and do a heap of work and power away from them at the finish. So he clearly looks to me a lot happier up in the North Island going around Auckland. He's going to race for $100,000 in a couple of weeks. So,
yep, and he's bigger, bolder stablemates down south. He's probably just enjoying that time there as well. So going from there, right. Another name that I can butcher as good as anyone. I think Brad Steele had to correct me on how to spell it. This was a really good feel-good story. I said there before about the Christian Cullen being run at Addington, and his colours go around here on Princess Meritain for Bobby Butt. Good win this one, Matty.
Yeah, she's a smart mare. We've seen that throughout the year. Obviously was knocking around against some pretty good fillies and mares along the way. And, just too much speed.
Yep.
Way too much speed for them. That's her second last in the Brian O'Meara colours, as you mentioned. This is her first look at Alexandra Park too, so she handled it like a race car, and very hard to see her getting beat when they return for Group 1 racing this week off the back of that performance. Although her probably biggest dangers picked up a good barrier draw. Princess Kaplan's drawn barrier 1 for that, which makes it interesting because she's got so much gate speed, whereas Princess Meritaten's drawn the outside of the front line.
She's all legs, isn't she? Just there, just watching her go. She's just trying to go as fast as she can and just gain that speed. And it's just ridiculous how far she came off them to beat them there.
Yeah, very impressive. Let down as you probably would expect she would, probably, to be fair. But as you say, Dance Till Dawn was the winner of the show day mares race, beating Princess Meritaten, Mantra Blue, Mr. Kaplan. So, she's running past a pretty fair horse and, of course, Lady of the Light. Yep,
exactly. Well, she started favourite, and she was okay.
Yeah, she was all right. She's building towards the Queen of Hearts this week, and she comes up with a good barrier draw. She'll be put in the race, and she won't be far away at the finish.
He's another stallion, much maligned, a rock and roll dance. Just gets winners everywhere. He is ridiculous. He'll have 2 winners today somewhere. It's just ridiculous for the job that he does going from there. The 24-25 stallion roster for Harasta Trotters is out. Headed up by E.L. Titan, winner, leaving a heap of winners in America. Standing for $4,000, he is chilled. We also have Always Ready, eligible here in Victoria. Used to Me, quality sire of 3 Group 1 winners, and the value price there is $17.50. There are discounts on all 3 of those horses if you pay early. We also have Classic Connection for $3,500. Again, standing in Queensland, this horse is, and important for the New Zealand people. This horse is frozen semen, actually will mean that those horses are Q-bred. So you've got a whole new market to sell to with them being Q-bred eligible. So make sure you get in touch with the team there. And for my New Zealand friends, on a streak. Will be in person seen at Waee Farm in conjunction with Harasta Trotters for the value price of $3,500. Breeders' Crown winner. Breeders' Crowns are on now. Frozen size 2, you can see there, back of the neck, not available in New Zealand, but Ekari D and Orlando Vici, the 100% producer and of course sire of champion horse, Just Believe. Get in touch with the team at harastatrotters.com.au. That is harastatrotters.com.au. Bobby Butt just started to get on an absolute roll, but Gold Bullion was terrific. Beating a nice field, though.
I'm going to say this was a better performance than Princess Meritations.
Wow.
We'll go and have a look where he is at the top of the straight.
I'm getting there. It's just taking a bit to load. It's okay.
He's always had a huge amount of ability. He's had a gold chain. Now, she came and raced in the Mayor's Trot at Queensland a couple of years ago. Gold chain. I think she'd already had gold bullion before she went over there.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure, this is the foal that she'd had.
Right.
Before she travelled over to Australia and raced. For the fact it's a trotter, having a look at Alexandra Park, he's running past some pretty nice horses. Bouncing Beyond, Halberg, Pantani, etc. The work he's got to do and the speed, and the gate's still not 100% fluent, but boy, he found the winning post.
Yeah, he was awesome. I'm trying to confirm what you were just saying then. I think you're right, looking at the gaps in him. But he's
I'm pretty sure she had an injury problem, so they bred from her while she rehabilitated. And then she came back into work after the foal was weaned off her.
It's actually come up now. So that horse there is a I'll flick it over to this one and what this screen up here. That didn't cut. Now we're right. So he's a 2019 model, and you can see her last start was on the 13th of May, 2022, where she ran second. So, you're 100% right, Matty. That's a great story. That I like that. They're the oddities. They're the oddities that I definitely enjoy bringing to light that you can do. Only you can do. I'm sure it's with my guidance, but
just whatever works.
What's in store for that man now?
He will head through some other races leading up. Maybe even look towards the feature trot on New Year's Eve. I'd imagine there are plenty of options up there, but obviously it might also be a bit of a fact-finding mission for races like the Roe Cup.
Yep.
The Lyle Creek or the Anzac Cup.
Yep.
I just can't remember what the name of that race is on New Year's Eve, so I'm going to look it up. What is there on Golden Gate night? No, well, he won't get in there because he hasn't had enough starts. On New Year's Eve, the National Trot.
Yes. I knew that, but I couldn't help it.
A Group 1 worth $100,000.
That'll be what Oscar will be going back for as well. So it won't be a walkover, but yeah.
Yeah.
No.
But he'll be more than competitive. Yeah.
He will indeed. Righto, little spike for Arna Donnelly. We're bringing this one up. Bobby was in rare form. He was driving outstanding, wasn't he?
He was. He gets on these little runs, Bob Butt, and delivers the winners. And, good to see. This is a nice horse, little spike. He's got unbelievable turn of foot, and we saw that. And obviously by Terra to Love, we don't see a whole heap of them winning a whole heap of races these days, but there are still quite a few floating around, which is good. That's him popping 3 back on the outside there in the Arna Donnelly colours. He's just a little bit too good for them. Hawkeye Pierce, if there was a prize for running the most seconds in your life, he'd be nearly about ready to win it because that's all he seems to be able to do at the moment. And obviously Always Be a Lead, I thought ran home really well from back in the field, but this was impressive. He will have had enough starts to qualify for the Golden Gate little spike, so he'll go around for $100,000 pretty soon too.
Do you know the association with Arna Donnelly in the camp and Bobby on?
No, I presume it was just there was an option there for a driver and Bob was up, so Bob got the call.
Yep. And then the wizard, Todd Mitchell. What does he get called, the wizard?
Oh, because he's a magician.
Okay.
He pulls rabbits out of hats. If you're lucky enough to follow him on Facebook, he does some wonderful things on his Facebook page every month. Don't go and look at his Facebook page. But a very, very, very good horseman, Tom. You don't get 1,200, close to 1,300 wins in your career and multiple New Zealand Trotting Cups. I think 3.
Yep.
Home host. 2 with just an excuse. Yeah. Super horseman. And this is a big performance. It just bolted in this thing, and it paid $87.
Last 300,
and it won like a $1.10 shot. So it had formerly been trained down in Canterbury by Jeff Wheeler. Had its last run at Addington on the 1st of May. Was sent up to Les White in the north, and does this to them first up in the North Island at 87-1. Might I add?
Is that it in front?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's it. Swinging for home. Just kept running.
Yeah.
And just kept running. So you don't see 87-1 shots winning like this very often. So obviously there was no inside oil. No one expected it, but we all should have known.
Because the magician was on it?
Yeah, and it's just jogged in.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Poor old Logan Hollis and Shane Robinson, if they were watching that, Best West ran second. Just want to look at one little thing because I'm pretty sure I did see this. Just some of the cool winners there. When you said Terra to Love, Auckland Reactor, I thought there was a Highview Tommy one, but I could be wrong.
No, there's one that ran second.
Was it? Yeah, okay, yeah.
His name was Major Tommy, and it might have run second to...
It might run second to the one before. Anyway, there's definitely there, but it's just cool to see these old horses, great names from the industry. Now, I reckon it was actually at Addington. The more I think about it, doesn't matter. Who cares? We get random. That's what we tend to do best, Matty. Rightio. Anything else from Auckland? All eyes start to centre on Auckland though now. A lot more horses, a lot more drivers will be heading up that way.
Yeah, absolutely. Massive week up there this week. There's the $100,000 Queen of Diamonds for the Trotting Fillies and Mares. Great to see a Group 1 for the Trotting Fillies and Mares. Love that.
Yep.
Well overdue. The Lincoln Farms Franklin Cup, which is at Group 2. We see Better Eclipse go around.
Yep.
He heads his first start back up in the north. He takes on Kango, the Big Lebowski, and Jollymont, and then obviously the Queen of Hearts for the Mares. That's worth 100,000 as well. So you've got Duchess Megxit in the mix, obviously off the back of her emphatic Oaks victory 10 days ago now. Mr. Kaplan, Princess Meritate, and Dance Till Dawn, I think, is probably the best bet in the race to run top 4 because she follows Mr. Kaplan out. So she'll probably sit trail the whole trip.
Right. That is a good field.
It is a very good field, yes. So looking forward to Friday night lights on Trackside, where I'll be doing a bit of odds integration, and that obviously sits alongside a reasonably good Addington meeting where we see a pretty nice free-for-all, the Summer Cup at Group 3.
Yeah, I did see that.
Renegade, Life of Art, Franco Merritt, Dalton Shard, Mwanga, One Change, Republican Party, and I've left one off, Heisenberg.
Just onto that, you and I spoke last week about making the Christian calendar 4 and 5-year-old. Mwanga was one else we probably hadn't thought about as well, Republican Party. They could have potentially made it, like they're going around $40,000 races. Just got to wind you back a bit though. Or not wind you back, wind you forward. Is there anything else before I get into trouble to highlight from those meetings?
No.
No, rightio. I've got the Geraldine Cup coming up. Mwanga was scratching.
Yes, we Hoofabs his issue according to Regan. Obviously, nothing too serious because he's racing this week.
Okay, I was pretty confident of that. I'll throw you under the bus, see how quick you are at you clicking your fingers because my internet's working slow today. But the Geraldine Cup, one of the great race courses going around. I think there was, reliably informed by Brad Steele, there was up to 4 bucks parties, and it is a big night. This was an entertaining little race. I've got them with a lap to go, Matty, and it was a very interesting little race on paper. Well, not on paper, but just how it all ended up being, I suppose, is the right way to put it. I got my tongue tied badly there. You can help me out anytime you want.
Yeah, a good race. Obviously devoid of a couple of stars in Wild Willow and Mwanga who were both scratched, but that didn't detract from the spectacle. So that's Hey Bartender out in front for Carter Dalgety. Carter and his parents had a day they'll probably rather forget. Not much went right for them, despite having 3 or 4 favourites. The winner, Bryce's medal, is, I'm just trying to pick it up, 1 out 3 back. Yep.
Yep.
Yep. Yes. Not last. It's stable, mate.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, the white
Triple
next,
G.
The white next strap.
Bryce's medal in the 1-1. Now, he wins. This horse moving to part, Kiss the Girls, is free leg pacing and galloped away. And he's gone down by a head.
Yeah.
Huge performance. Trained by Derek and Adele Jones, who, of course, train Eurostyle.
Yep.
Some very big hard luck stories out of this race, and they both wear the same set of colours. Not Lawrence Hanrahan's colours, but they're both trained by Lawrence Hanrahan.
Yep.
Woodbine Rocks and Tanzania, who are fourth last and second last, respectively, on the fence.
Yep.
Obviously, Hey Bartender hits the wall here. Got You Covered had nothing left. Homebush Lad had nothing left. And Bryce's medal effectively popped out from 1 out 3 back. Good run from American Me, too. I probably shouldn't neglect to talk about his performance. He's building beautifully. So you can see the stable mates in the same set of colours there. Jimmy Curtin's got nowhere to go on Woodbine Rocks, and John Morrison's about to try and find some clear air with Tanzania, and the gap squeezed up there on Jimmy. Tanzania is still clearing wheels. So they both go to the Rangiora Cup on Sunday, and either one of them could win it.
Yep, rightio. Okay, well, there's another little form update for you, Sam Ottley. Has she ever won her hometown cup?
Yes.
She has.
On a horse called Just Rose.
Very, very good. For
Colin and Julie DeFilippi.
Okay, because I know one very cheeky Sarah O'Reilly told me that she where she used to live, which is the house that adjoins to the back of the track. So yeah, I was just wondering about that.
There's an interesting little story unfolding with Sam Ottley, and I know that we're now at the 10th of December.
Look out! He's going to throw me under the bus again. I better get
No. You don't need to pull any videos up. I'm just having a wee count up in my head here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 10 meetings left for Sam to potentially drive 14 winners to become the first horsewoman or reinswoman to drive 100 winners in a season in New Zealand.
Obviously, there's a catch with the 2021 season.
Yes, because that was a 17-month season thanks to COVID.
Right.
Sorry, not thanks to COVID. Thanks to the change in dates.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yep.
But even still in the 12-month period, she didn't drive 100 winners.
Yep. Rightio. Okay. So
anyway, we're just keeping a wee close eye on that at the moment.
Anyone wonder what we're talking about? And it's so easy to do. You just click on the drivers' names and it'll bring it up. But she's got 86 winners this year. She had 121. You can see back here, 120. But obviously that is why. So it hasn't happened for a female driver in New Zealand.
No.
Right.
No.
She's done a lot of firsts too. Like she is now the leading lady driver. She's done a lot of firsts. So 14.
So her week looks, she's at Oamaru tomorrow, which is about a 3-hour drive from home. Then she's off to Winton, which is about a 6.5, 7-hour drive from home the next day. Then back to Addington Friday night and Rangiora on Sunday. So she'll end up having probably 20 plus drives over the course of the week. If she can pick up 2 or 3, I say it's game on and she can get there because she'll head to Westport, which is 3 race meetings in 5 days.
Any chance you go to Manawatu? We ring Mickey House and say, listen, come to the park.
No, he's got one big job at the moment. That's to try and get his son over the line first in the Junior Drivers Premiership.
Well,
let's be fair, he drove something ridiculous like 30 winners again or something last month. I can't remember the exact number off the top of my head. That's not that many. But He's 6 wins behind Sam Thornley, who is obviously not here this week because he's in Australia at the Australasian Young Drivers Championships. He's got 2 Manawatu 2 meetings where he generally picks up 2 or 3.
Yep.
By Thursday night, they could be level pegging. And then we've got 3 weeks of fun leading into the end of the year of these two, who also happen to be very good mates, driving against each other to win a premiership, and Cardedale getting nipping at their heels on 52 wins, just 2 wins behind Wilson. So, yeah.
He's got 5 drives at Manawatu today. So,
yes.
They may or may not have started. I'm not sure.
No, not quite.
Radio, rest of Geraldine. Was there anything else I had to highlight for you there?
Good to see Maui back in winning form after taking on the Group 1s.
Very sorry.
No, you don't need to be sorry, Paul.
I did know, but I did see it. I actually watched the race and I thought my man's going to be up and about.
No, just the McCormick team at this time of the year, as they start to prepare for Cromwell, seem to grow a leg. Lawrence qualified a pretty nice one at Ashburton yesterday called Father Mike, who could go on and do a good job. Yep. Keep an eye out for that one. But yeah, win number 14 or 15 for Maui in his career. He's been a super horse. So yeah, that was good to see. And yeah, just a good old day out at Geraldine.
So we're going to Forbury Park, but it was actually called something else. I think Wingatui. I used to have a horse called Wingatui Jew. I reckon the Wingatui Jew might be a Frost, would it not?
Could be.
Yeah. Anyway, that's okay. I think he was Australian bred, but that doesn't matter. I don't know whether they're going to have the start of this. This was messy, the start of this race. Lucky, they cheated. They didn't show the messing around. It was ugly, the start, wasn't it? Yeah,
it was. Not pretty. You get those sometimes.
Yeah.
Probably the less said about it, the better. But, yeah, still got to be a winner at the end of the day, and we found one, and it was Nutcracker.
Yeah, so, he's having a great run, Ferg, isn't he?
He is indeed. He's getting them. It doesn't matter whether it's Group 1s at Addington or Country Cups at Wingatui, which, for those that aren't aware, is actually predominantly the galloping track in Dunedin.
Yep.
And obviously, with the closure of Forbury Park, they now race either at Wyndham, Invercargill, or on the grass here at Wingatui.
Yep, and I would imagine it'd get pretty wet there through winter, so that'd definitely be off their radar.
Yeah, it can get pretty wet there. It's actually a really nice track though, so does a decent enough job. And yeah, Nutcracker's always been a nice horse, so good to see him get a Country Cup.
Yep, and when stables get in form, you want to stick with those as well. So, anything else out of that meeting?
No, not particularly. No, I just everything's sort of quieting down now in the South Island, which is good. And now we build towards circuit racing with obviously Westport and Reefton, a Central Otago circuit, then it's Nelson and Blenheim. So some exciting times ahead.
Be interesting whether I can get one of these remote interviews with you when you are maybe camping, but we'll have to start.
I'll always make time for you, Paul.
We'll have to start it early, that's for sure.
No, I'm on a working holiday this year.
Oh, for Trackside?
Yes.
Outstanding. Are you working this weekend?
I am at Rangiora on Sunday, presenting the Sunday session and doing odds both Friday and Saturday.
Okay, Rangiora is not done yet, the fields?
No.
Okay.
No, they'll be out later on this afternoon. No, they shouldn't be too far away, though.
I think they might even be closer than that because, they've gone off from the nominations. So,
okay. So that's that Rangiora meeting's the one they hold on the grass track there, which they don't do very often.
Yep.
They'll have a massive crowd there.
Yeah. What is it about the grass?
Country feel.
Yeah.
I think it's the venues.
Yeah.
And I mean this with the greatest of respect. You don't feel like you're in a concrete jungle.
Yeah.
Wide open spaces, a bit more relaxed. There is generally a lot more family orientated activities on that get people to the track, whether it be, kids events, kids go racing, Santa's there, those sort of things, I think. And more of a family feel to them too.
Yeah, it's just, we had the Gumbauer Cup ran here Sunday. Gumbauer's inside a thoroughbred track. It's flat, it has no camber. This is the standardbred track. the thoroughbred track, I don't know if it does or not, but they've had a few issues with it over the journey. But they've spent a lot of money to get it up for 2 meetings a year for the thoroughbreds, and our paces are going around in dust. And I think our industry, we need to do something to reinvigorate it. I just looked at it. There's no crossing even. There's not even a crossing at Gumbau. Like the horses go, they open the track up so they can get across to the inside. All the gear stays on the inside. It's just tailor-made, but trying to get people to embrace it, it's different. But whereas you Kiwis love it.
Thrive on it. And I think the fact that they are so close to the crowd, too, on those grass tracks. You go to some of those venues and race on their all-weather tracks, and they are like that one, and they're inside, and you feel like you're a mile away from the horses.
Yep.
Whereas Rangura's, Methven's, those sort of places, it feels like you can almost reach out and touch the horses at some points.
Yep.
So, it's been a long, long, long history of success grass track racing here in New Zealand, and may it long continue, because it's got a pretty special place in the industry and does a pretty critical job in keeping the industry ticking over.
Spent a bit of time with Brad Steele last night on Loose Lines, and I don't think grass track racing's going anywhere. I think he'd actually finished the conversation, and I brought it up as a conversation piece, and he got back involved. I think his eyes are well and truly been opened up to how good it is.
Well, it's probably pretty simple, really.
Mm.
You take that away, and what have you got to hold you up? Because it is the grass track meetings that are holding the industry up at the moment.
New Zealand was once a part, I'm going to throw you under the bus here a bit, Matty, so get ready for it, but we were once a part of the Inter-Dominion Paces final. Firstly, have you been watching it?
A little bit.
How little, like results or none, like just the races?
Results and maybe a replay here and there.
Sad, isn't it?
It is. It is. I just basically forget too that the heats are on. I watched most of the first round of heats,
yep.
And then that was sort of it. So yeah, I think it's pretty tough watch.
Yep.
Given that grow up watching Inter-Dominion series with superstar horses.
Yeah.
And I'm trying not to be disrespectful to any horse that is in it, but it's not the greatest series I've seen, put it that way.
No, it does get a bit frustrating, I think, as well, from our point of view. There is some good stories coming out of it, though. Young people driving their first winners in heats and going from there. The Kiwis have got a few names after a few NZs after their names, with Mr. Moonlight, Terry, Narano. Where's the other? It was Minstrel, who has had a little luck lately. Pete said so. And then even the first two emergencies, Can't Find a Better Man and Perfect Stride. Do you have a winner?
Minstrel.
Serious?
And Minstrel and the Duchess, as they call her, Denny Roberts. Now, that has actually got a huge Kiwi connection. So it is owned by Davey and Kath Butt, who are Bob Butt's parents, his grandparents Robin and Jackie Butt, and the Hickman family here from New Zealand. So they still race it along with the Bond team. So we can hang our hats to that, and we can obviously hang our hats to Queen Elida as well. So Minstrel for me, for the Kiwi aspect, that'll be nice. Can't Find a Better Man, who's obviously on the ballot, is actually Kiwi owned still too, by Graham Anderson, Dave McHugh, who used to run the best racing pub in New Zealand, the Yoldhurst Hotel.
Yep.
He doesn't run it anymore. Steve Pulley, there's a few of the guys that race. They actually raced the horse here in New Zealand when Graham Anderson had it before it was sent over.
And Diane Riley's also in the ownership there.
Yeah.
As well. So, yeah, and trained by Peter Walsh. And obviously, by the sounds of it, you're barracking for Queen Elida in the trot.
Yeah, sure.
Yep. Yeah, she's been
Go TR Baron.
She has actually been going outstanding. I think it's interesting what you say. I think the trotters, albeit they're lacking a couple of the high class ones, it's pretty good field though, and it's got a bit of intrigue about it as well.
Yeah, it has. Obviously, the locomotive drawing inside Queen Elida makes things interesting for me. I don't know if I'd ride off Kiyang Chucky.
No.
The way the Lee team's going at the moment, obviously spearheaded by one horse in particular, but Aldebaran Zeus has been the head-scratching horse for me out of that series, but the ability is there. But Queen Elida looks pretty well placed from barrier 5. I would have thought to roll her way forward and be the horse to beat.
And to be honest, if she could win it, it'd be a nice result for her because she's been such an ornament to the industry and just always run those placings behind some very, very good horses like Just Believes. Oscar, I think, beat her one time as well. There's always that sort of 1 or 2 open class horses. It'd be good to see her do that. And she wouldn't be far off retirement. I'm not retiring her anytime soon, but the breeding barn wouldn't be that far off for her, I wouldn't imagine either.
And just looking at it, it would tip her over $1 million in stake earnings.
Well, that'd
if
be
she
even,
was to win.
That'd be even better. I knew you'd come up with something.
There's not that many trotting mares that have won $1 million. One over Kenny.
What a broodmare! What a broodmare she's turned out to be.
Yeah, correct. She was the first. Is she the only?
I don't know, but Queen Kenny's out of one over Kenny, yeah. No, nice one, Kenny. But anyway, it's related to that same family. I know. There's definitely a close relation with Queen Elida, so that'd be pretty cool. That'd be something pretty cool to hang your hat on as well, wouldn't it?
It would be. No, $1 million in earnings is a great achievement and looks good when it comes to putting a nice colt or filly through the sales ring at some point in the future.
I'm just trying to think of some of the other mares that we've had just lately, and I think they would fall short. A couple of the Pat Driscoll mares, Dance Craze, and she's got a horse going in the NZB sale actually, so I should be able to find that one out very, very quickly. I think she could have gone close. She may not have.
Really testing you today. That's good. You thought you were going to throw me under the bus, and I've thrown you under the bus, so that's a good win.
It won't come up. Hang on, it's coming up now. It's lot 106 in the sale. Actually, funnily enough, Locomotive is very closely related. Where's her stake money? Placed 12,000 times. I need more than that. Oh no, only 560. So there, that's how big an achievement it is when a horse like Dance Craze has won $560,000. So yeah, that's a pretty amazing stat, that actually. So yeah. Yep.
Yeah, I believe that she would become just the second millionaire trotting mare down under.
Yeah. Doesn't have. Oh, like Cucaracha only won 360,000. So
yeah,
you're wiping out a couple of the champion mares, that's for sure.
Yeah. So there you go.
That's lot number 106 in the upcoming NZB sale as well. So that's Dance Craze, but of course, La Cucaracha, and then you got the Locomotive as well out of that same family. So it's a champion family. Matty, thank you. Really do appreciate it. As always, frees up my week for the rest, but we'll be airing it tonight. You can catch Matty on Trackside on Sunday with the Sunday session, but also make sure you tune in to the guys with the box seat that airs tonight. What time?
8 o'clock New Zealand time, but it will be available on YouTube first thing tomorrow morning. And
you can also go to HRNZ, I think, and click on the link there. There's a little thing that pops up. So, Matty,
correct.
Awesome. Beauty. Thank you very much, mate.
All right, mate. We'll talk next week.